Welcome back to FastMonty's Garage. Today we're going to discuss rework when you're spray painting. Let's say you painted a part and you messed up a section. You don't want to repaint the whole part, you just want to cover that section. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Now, last episode, I showed you guys how to mask, professionally mask, this wheel and tire because I Cerakoted the rear barrel. So it was no longer polished aluminum. It's now black. It matches the spokes. It came out perfect. Now there's two other parts I painted in that video. My radiator and a radiator shroud. A couple sections on each did not come out perfect. And I have to rework those. Now instead of repainting the whole damn thing, I'm going to mask it up so we can touch up those areas and move forward with our lives. That's the whole point. Now, if I ever helped you out in the past, consider getting a hat or shirt. Join button right there, Full Monty Club. Everything goes to helping the channel and making more videos, me making more mistakes, you guys learning faster, blah, 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 blah. Now, moving forward, last episode, in our masking, we talked about Easy Sheet, which is the plastic material sitting on the GTO right now. It's also a poor man's car cover, but it protects against overspray. I also made a paint booth. Again, go check out that episode 2 episodes ago. I also shot with Cerakote. We're going to use the same material today on the radiator, on the shroud, some more masking tricks, and to give you guys an idea of what to look out for your job. Let's get into it. Okay, here's area number 1. You can see I'm missing paint right here. There's no color because this was upside down when I shot it. And I thought I got it, but I didn't. But now when it's in the car, this is pointed straight up. So obviously you're going to see that. If it was on the bottom, I wouldn't care. But since you're going to see it when it's in the vehicle, I care about it. Now, the other great thing about this is why I'm doing this video. This is a base and clear coat. So it's applicable to any of you that are trying to do a touch-up job on your car. It's something to think about. So now the way we're going to approach this is I don't have color all the way down, even on the weld there. But notice right at the seam of the weld in this flat section, we do have clear and color. So we're going to mask up to that seam all the way around, and we're going to scuff it up, shoot it black, peel back the masking a little bit, and then shoot clear. So there's going to be a slight overlap of clear over the base. That seals up the base, and that'll make a good protection spot there. So that's number 1. Okay, here's the shroud I made out of the FMG CAD shop. This is for 14-inch spall fans for cold case radiators. It'll be on my website when they become public, but you can kind of see this little area in here where I did not hit it with enough clear. So it's called dry spray. So the base is fine. It's the clear that I'm worried about. So this job, this section will be clear only. So we'll talk about that too. Okay, there's the most obvious miss, right? So we're gonna mask right along the seam where the weld meets the flat area. So on the bottom side of our nipple, I missed right here. I mean, it's really hard to tell. I missed right in here. There's a little bit of paint missing in here. You're not gonna see this, it's in the car. This is not a big deal. I'm just using this as an example to show you guys some masking techniques. So on that seam on the top side, I'm going to come across the masking tape. I'm going to come across this edge here on the side. I'm going to come down over this bend line right here, and then I'm going to cut straight up and then meet right at that point and come around. So it'll make sense when I lay it down, but I want to show you what the seam is going to look like between painted or freshly painted and already painted, just to give you an idea what the masking would look like. I realize there's a lot going on here. So there's 2 different types of masking styles. There's using a hard edge, which is just tape on the part, and that creates a hard edge when you paint. And there's also a soft edge. That's when you fold tape like that, and it creates a little bit of a gap for the paint to seep underneath. Both are happening right now. So underneath my soft edges here, I have the hard edge where I laid it down, mashed it down with my finger, used a razor blade, cut it out right along that seam, scuffed it up with my red Scotch-Brite. I went ahead and did this overlap trick over the hard edge, so it's overlapped by like a millimeter. We're going to shoot the black and roll back the tape to the hard edge and shoot the clear. A little bit different here on the bottom of the nipple. I would decided to leave a hard edge right there, just so you guys can see how it would come out. And then on the bottom here, I did a soft edge, but it is scuffed lower than this. So when we shoot the black and it tacks up and dries enough, we're gonna roll the tape back, say another millimeter or 2 millimeters, and then shoot the clear. So it's already scuffed. Brilliant, right? All right, so here's that easy sheet we discussed. It comes in these very convenient rolls. They're 400 feet long. You can get different widths. This one happens to be 12 feet wide. And I have to apologize. I don't think you can find this anymore. So luckily for us, 3M also makes this stuff. So in the description section, I'll leave a link for the 3M product. It's the same stuff you can get on Summit Racing. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take about this much out for the radiator width, plus about 6 inches on either side, and basically make a bag to put the radiator in. Let me show you a quick trick here. Oh yeah, perfect. Bada bang. So I have my section cut out. This is towards the end of it, and I have it laying over the nipple. Just take your sharp razor blade and cut the nipple out of the plastic. The sharper the blade, the better. It basically scores the plastic. Doesn't have to be exact. So take a little hole out, and now I can slip it over the nipple. What I love about this really thin plastic, it loves to stick to the tape that we just put underneath. So lay it down on the tape all the way around. And if you have any plastic that's covering where you need to paint, just go back over it with your knife and score that plastic, and you can peel it off just like that. So go all the way around, and we'll have our mask complete, and then we can wrap the radiator with the rest of the plastic. There we go, all bagged up. One piece of plastic, just like a Christmas present. Christmas came early, with our nipples sticking out. And when this is shipped, it actually comes with these blue caps in the nipples, so that is my natural masking tip for the inlet. But that's perfect, ready to shoot. Now let's handle the shroud. I realize it's tough to tell, but there's just a little bit of area over here that doesn't have enough clear on it. But the point is, when you're retouching clear, you absolutely have to go panel the full panel, or at least find a significant break in the panel. So I'm using the bend line, just past the bend line on the sheet metal. And ironically enough, if you didn't know this, I just learned this like 10 seconds ago, tape does not like to stick to Cerakote. So the bottom here is called back taping. There is no paint on the bottom surface. So the tape sticks great. It's called back taping because it still leaves this top edge exposed, which I still want clear on it, because in the car, and you look down the engine, you'll see this surface. So that's great. I want it back taped like that. So now we're going to go ahead and use the same trick with the masking plastic, and we're going to cover everything and use the sticky part of the tape, and then cut out what's remaining of the plastic. So same trick as before, you just score the edge of the plastic on top of the tape and take that plastic section off. Good to go. But now we need to get this Scotch-Brite from 3M. It's the ultra fine. It's for clear coat, especially for blending. We're going to go ahead and rough it up nice and gently, the whole area, because we're going to reshoot the entire thing in clear. So take your time. It's okay to go up to the tape. Make sure we get all the edges we want to hit again with clear coat. And you should see it start to fade a little bit. All right, here we go. Fully degreased. Just put a couple coats on and we're good. Hey, that was easy. All right, team, it's the next day. I peeled back that top layer of the folded over tape, and I exposed my hard edge that I used the knife on, and now I'm ready to shoot the clear. And the good tip here is to wait until this fully tacks. I actually did it, was a little too wet, and I put my fingerprint on the back here. We'll see if the clear coat evens it out or not, but and again, another good test. So let's go ahead and shoot some clear on this bad boy. 2 coats of clear. Time for the shroud. Something to keep in mind, when you lay clear down, you want it to look like it's gonna look when it's dry. So it's somewhat wet and it will clear out. Also make sure you degrease this before you start shooting. Again, we're gonna do 2 coats, and when it starts to tack up, we're gonna take our tape off. Alright guys, in all honesty, I only put 1 coat on because it went on way too thick. I didn't notice my pressure was off. It was like half of what it should be. It should be at 30. It was like at 15 to 20, and it came out super thick. So I only did 1 coat, took the plastic off. It's only about 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the bottom layer that I cut with the knife. So far, so good. Don't know if you noticed, but you can see that clear that was stuck to the top of the tape because I put it on way too thick. But I'm gonna give it some time. Maybe it'll even itself out. But again, it's on that seam of the weld. So it's really hard to tell that it's there. You wouldn't have known unless you saw this video. Now the fun part. Remember we re-cleared this section? It's actually also been a little bit over 15 minutes. Go ahead and start peeling our tape away. This edge came out really nice. I like it. Now you can see some lines in there. I honestly think that's from the bending process of the aluminum. I think it came out perfect. We put the seam on a perfect spot. Some of you with eagle eyes probably noticed there's black paint on here. That's because I decided to do the bottom complete black and clear, because I had the same issue I had on the nipple. There was a bunch of bare spots that had no black on it because it was actually up above my head in the paint booth and I was just shooting blind. But this is the bottom, so you're not going to see it. I decided to shoot it anyway. So I'll take the masking off here too. My bad, I forgot to hit play, but that top seam came, or I should say bottom seam, came out great. So putting the tape, the hard line right on top of the bend line worked out perfectly. I promised you that seam on the bottom, what would it look like? You can see that straight edge, that's from the hard edge. But what you can't see is the edge on the bottom where the soft edge was, as well as the hard edge along the seam. You can kind of barely see it, but you wouldn't, like I said earlier, you'd never know that that was there without me pointing it out to you in the video. So it looks fantastic. Let's check out the shroud. All right, you guys ready for the shroud? Here we go. With the fans mounted, baby. Oh yeah, and fingerprints and everything. I can see that in the camera. Added the flap doors. These are SPAL part numbers, by the way. These are SPAL 14-inch fans. Huge improvement over the cold case shroud. And let's see how it fits. I know you're gonna ask. Oh yeah, of course it fits. I designed it. Badass. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, so I hope you guys learned a lot today about rework for paint. I know it takes a different level of thinking when you're trying to pre-plan how to mask, etc., etc. But all those techniques can be used for any project you have. I don't even care if it's a house project. It'll work for masking. Now, next episode, we are going to cover this project, how I designed this new shroud, how you can get one yourself. If you have a cold case radiator, it has to be a 28.5 inch by 17 core size from Cold Case. If you don't have a cold case, you can go hit up their website, use my discount code FastMonty, get yourself a cold case radiator. But if you have a modified engine, you really need to upgrade the fan kit. So that's going to be available on my website, fastmontysgarage.com, at some point. As of this recording, it's not nailed down yet, but keep checking back. But next episode, I'm going to go through all the design changes I made to the shroud, how I made it. SendCutSend is actually making these for us. And to give you a little spoiler, you don't have to paint it yourself because SendCutSend will powder coat them for me. Yep. And then this is what's going to be available online. How badass is that? The answer is pretty badass. Man, I can't wait. So, guys, I will see you next episode. Thanks for hanging out. Until next time, build them fast, drive them faster. See ya. Man, I love this thing.